UFC 272 is this week, and I'm a guy who's been watching since UFC 1, before Zuffa. It's from Vegas, and the man who will take on Colby Covington in the main event joins me now. There he is, Game Bread, Jorge Masvidal. Jorge, welcome to the show. You and Covington went, as we just saw, from good friends to bitter rivals. When and why did your relationship change?
The first blow was when he didn't pay my coach that I introduced him. That my coach is like my father figure. He's the person that pulled me out from the environment I was in, and the first person to ever have faith in me and said, hey, if we leave all this behind, you can win a world title, you have the skills, we can go far, you know, and we just did it off a handshake and 5% for everything that I'd make. So finally, Colby had some time. They finally had a chance to pay him back with some real coin. You can see it on the video, everything that I'm saying. Me and my coach cornered him for when he won an interim Mickey Mouse belt against RDA. And guess what? You know, he finally had a chance to pay, make everything right. And he didn't pay. He didn't pay a penny of what he owed. So that was like the first blow. I knew since then I would never be cool with this guy or friends with him. And then, you know, his next thing, as soon as he has a chance to stab me, start saying things about me to the public eye, because I never would have went public with it. I would have just kept it in and just beat his ass. He did, and he talks about everything: my children, my religion, you know, and my children some more, my religion, and anything under the sun that he could talk about to generate, you know, somebody to go, oh my gosh, I was a low blow or flower, because that's how he believes in, you know. That's why he would diss women like Amanda Nunes and Joanna. That's why he disses a whole third world country like Brazil just to sell a pay-per-view, just for some pieces of silver. Not somebody that I align with in any way, shape, or form. So I can't wait to send him to the ER.
So there are lines you don't cross in the promotion that he does. Jorge, you're like all mixed martial artists who are successful on your level. You've had to learn different facets of the game, including mat work, everything, right? But you are basically, at heart, a dude who likes to basically box. Like, you move your head offline like a boxer, the whole thing. And his background, he has a wrestling background, right? How does that usually, not always, but usually, that's tough for the striker guy, the boxer guy, when the other guy's kind of muscle memory is on the ground. So how do you work that?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not overnight, you know. I do have, as you say, the striking comes natural to me. But I spend about 60%, 70%, doesn't matter who I'm fighting, even if it's another striker, in wrestling. And just having to wrestle, because I constantly want to keep the fight on my feet, or if the fight is engaged in a grappling manner, I want to be the one on top giving the blows. So this hasn't come overnight. Since I've started the sport, I've only worked on my wrestling. I've only worked on my defensive wrestling or my offensive wrestling. I've never stopped not wrestling in any camp that I've had in my off time. I'm always wrestling, mainly because it doesn't come easy to me, and I'm a hard worker, and I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna make sure that I'm the best grappler ever in my department of defense, you know, so nobody can hold me down. So this is not something, like I said, and I'll keep saying, that comes overnight. It's a lifetime of me working with much better wrestlers than me, them beating the crap out of me, and just continuously throwing myself back in that furnace and getting better at it. Now I get to show the whole world just how good I am at it, you know. And in the Usman fight, the first one, he had a lot of trouble holding me down. He had a lot of trouble taking me down, you know. And he's one of the better grapplers in my division. It just shows I might be a striker, but I'm not somebody that's just going to sit there and give in to somebody else's will. I know what it takes to make these positions for myself happen.
Game Bread, Usman even said after your fight, after your second fight, he's impressed with how quickly you can get to your feet and all that stuff nowadays. What do you see specifically in Colby Covington that you can exploit?
His heart, and he's fragile. I know him. I have, you know, just like he has things to say about me and math on me, I know him. I remember the times that I hit him a little bit too hard in the body, and he took his gloves off and had to walk out of the cage. He would tell trainers, like, we don't have to spar, me and Masvidal. We could wrestle all the time, but we don't have to spar, you know. And it shows on his record. I mean, he doesn't hurt anybody. He doesn't have any power. I know what I have to do is just be a dog. Be the dog that I've always been, and get in front of his face, you know, and just let him have it, you know, and bust him up. And hopefully in the exchange, I hope he doesn't have mat herpes this week, so I just don't get any of that in the exchange as well, because he does have a disgusting funk on his face that I've seen that is popping up. And he usually gets that from nerves and stuff when he has stress, so I guess he's a little nervous now for some reason.
And meantime, the winner of this fight, like, what's the idea here? You want Usman for a third time? Like, what's the plan?
Yes. Definitely. Usman's the only thing on my cross sights. Obviously, I got an individual with 2 hands in front of me that I have to go out there and compete against. But everything leads to Usman and that belt, you know. Since I got into the sport, the only thing I ever wanted was that belt. So everything leads to Usman, you know.
Game Bread, pleasure speaking to you. Best of luck. Can't wait for the fight.
Thank
Jorge
you, everybody.
Masvidal,
Everybody
ladies
watching.
and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.